Tonight we have a very beautiful, touching love story from the Seerah. It's a love story between the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Zainab, and her husband Abu al-As ibn Rabi'. Inshallah ta'ala, I will narrate the story slowly and then we will take some lessons at the end, bi'idhnillah. So, Zainab radiallahu anha, one of the daughters of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Abu al-As is her cousin. Khadija's radiallahu anha's sister, he is her son. So he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I want to marry your eldest daughter Zainab. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, I have to ask her first. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Zainab and he said, your cousin Al-As came to me and wishes to marry you. Do you accept him as your husband? So Zainab radiallahu anha, her face turned red with bashfulness and she smiled. And that's a sign of acceptance. So Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, the marriage took place and they were blessed by a son named Ali and a daughter named Umama. And they had a beautiful, beautiful marriage. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam got the revelation and became a messenger. All that was before the message. And Abu al-As at that time, he was traveling away from Mecca. So when he came back, Zainab radiallahu anha, she told him, I have great news for you. My father became a prophet and I became a Muslim. So Al-As was very upset and he said, how could you become a Muslim without asking me? She said, what do you think? I'm gonna not believe in my father? My mother did and all my other sisters did. Ali radiallahu anhu did. Your cousin Uthman, because Uthman bin Affan is his cousin. Your very close friend Abu Bakr as-Siddiq did. They all believed in him. So he said, I am not going to leave the deen of my ancestors, and I don't want people to say that, oh, he left our deen and he followed his wife. So Abu al-As stayed non-Muslim and she stayed with him as his wife. And at that time, Quraysh was pressuring Al-As and they were telling him, divorce Zainab and we will give you the best woman of Quraysh. Just divorce her. Because they had, been planning to harm Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in every aspect. So he did not, because he loves his wife so much. So Zainab stayed in Mecca and then the battle of Badr took place. Now imagine the battle of Badr taking place and her husband is on one team, on one side, and her father is on the other. Wow. Allahu Akbar. What a tough situation. And she made a dua at that time. She said, Ya Allah, I fear one day the sun may rise and my children become orphans or I lose my father. Yani, she was worried she might lose her father or might lose her husband. So the battle ended, as we all know, and the Muslims were victorious. And she immediately asked, how is my father? They told her, alhamdulillah, he was victorious, and she was very, very happy for him, and she made sajdat shukr. And then she asked, what did my husband do? And they told her that he was captured by the Muslims. So at that time, anytime you have a soldier that was captured, you send a fidya, you send a payment, some kind of payment in order to release your relative from being captured. So when she found out that her husband was captured, she took a necklace given to her by her mother Khadija radiallahu anha, and she sent it to Medina in order for her husband to be released. In the meantime, Rasulullah ﷺ is taking all the payments from the people in order to release the captives. And then he looked and he saw Khadija's necklace. In one narration it says he teared, because we all know how much he loved Khadija radiallahu anha. And he said, whose payment is this for? They said, this is for Al-As, your son-in-law. So as soon as Rasulullah ﷺ heard that, he looked at the respect and the leadership qualities that Rasulullah ﷺ had. He said to the Sahaba, "O people, this man is my son-in-law. Should I release him? Would you accept the return of this necklace to my daughter?" They said, "Ya Rasulullah, how could you ask us?" Of course, send Al-As and return also the necklace back to your daughter. Subhanallah, he took permission from them, even though he knows that they will never say no to him. Look at the respect he had for the Sahaba. So he told them, tell Zainab not to give this necklace away anytime, to anywhere, to anybody, to release anyone. So Abu al-As went, and on his way he told him, "Please, I need something from you." Rasulullah ﷺ told him, "I want you to return my daughter to me." At that time, the ruling came that a Muslim woman cannot live with a non-Muslim. When Rasulullah ﷺ left her before, it was not prohibited yet. Now the revelation came that a Muslim woman cannot live with a mushrik. So he told him, "Please send me my daughter." So Zainab, she was very happy, standing at the gates of Mecca, waiting for Al-As to come back. And she was so excited to see her husband. And he told her, "You're going away." He said, "Going away to where?" He said, "You're going to your father. This is what I promised your father, to send you the minute I arrive." She said, "Can you please become a Muslim?" He said, "I'm not becoming a Muslim." He insisted on staying on kufr. Zainab accepted the instruction, and she left to Medina. Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam waited for his daughter, and she came with her son and her daughter to Medina and stayed there for 6 years, refusing many people who are approaching her for marriage because of her love to Al-As. And she has not seen her husband for that long. After 6 years, Al-As was traveling in a caravan from Mecca to Syria to do business for the Qurayshi people. And while he was in that caravan, the Muslims captured the caravan and took all the products, because what the Quraysh have done to all their wealth in Mecca, and they took also Al-As as a captive again. So Al-As came to Zainab's house at night and knocked at the door, and he asked her for protection. In Islam, in the past, if someone comes and he is wanted, if he asks for protection from someone who's known, they will offer him protection. So he asked Zainab for protection. She said, "Will you become a Muslim?" He said, "No, I am not becoming a Muslim. I'm just a fugitive right now." She said, "Please become a Muslim." He said, "No, I will not become a Muslim." So she said, "Welcome, and you are as my cousin." And he came and stayed till Fajr. Zainab announced to Rasulullah ﷺ that I gave already protection to my cousin to my cousin Al-As. So Rasulullah ﷺ announced and asked the Sahaba again. They said, "My daughter gave Al-As her protection, so please accept this protection. And I want to ask you again, can you please release Al-As and release everything that you took from him in that caravan?" So the Sahaba said, "Absolutely, Ya Rasulullah." So they released him, and he went and took the money, and he went back to Mecca, and he gathered all the merchants that gave him money, and he said, "Here's all your products that I got for you. Did you receive all your money that you trusted me with?" They all said, "Yes, you have fulfilled all your promise. you did not leave anything or anyone that you owe any money to. So he looked at them, then he said, I testify. He looked at them and said, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. Allahu Akbar. He said, I gave you all this first because I don't want you to say that Al-As took the money and became a Muslim. I gave you all your rights first, and now I am a Muslim. And then he went back to Medina and entered to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he said, Ya Rasulullah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu annaka Rasulullah. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam was so happy. And then he came to him and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I would like to get my wife back. And Rasulullah repeated the same statement. He said, I would like to ask her first. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, Ya Zainab, your cousin is asking for you in marriage. Would you accept? So Zainab's face turned red with bashfulness and she smiled. And they came back together. Alhamdulillah, they lived very happy together. And unfortunately, 1 year later, she died, and then he followed her 1 year after that. Subhanallah. The love that he had for her and the love that she had for him was, subhanallah, she left many people who proposed for her, waiting for her husband, and he was offered so many women and so much status in Quraysh, but he insisted and he waited for the right time to become a Muslim and go back to his family. My brothers and sisters, subhanallah, this is something that we are missing between the husband and the wife in these days. The love, the real strong love between the husband, between the spouses. The husband loving his wife and treating her with utmost respect and care and honor. And the wife treating her husband with complete love and honor and respect. That plus communication, plus trust, all these things are the foundation of a happy household. I want you today, after hearing this beautiful story, to do me a favor. If your wife is next to you, turn to her and say, I love you, my wife. And my dear sister, look at your husband and tell him, I love you. And forget about all these small things that happen between you and start a new page and bring back the love and the mercy and the tranquility to that household. And if your wife lives away from you, text her now and say, I love you. And similarly, my sister, if you're watching me in somewhere that your husband is away from you, text your husband and tell him, I love you and I can't wait to come home and see you. This is how we revive and refresh the love between us. And subhanallah, remember that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the best of mankind, in front of all these men, he officially, openly said, I love Aisha. Allahu Akbar. I love Aisha. He mentioned his wife's name in front of the men, and he mentioned and declared his love to her without being shy. So, alhamdulillah, let's imitate and let's duplicate and practice this sunnah of telling one another as a husband and a wife that we love one another. So I tell you right now that I love my wife a lot, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring peace and love and mercy between me and her, and I ask Allah azza wa jal to bring love and mercy for everybody who is watching us and fill all our homes with tranquility. Ameen ya rabbil alameen. I love you all for the sake of Allah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.